The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings, Transforming Suffering into Peace, Joy, and Liberation by Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese Thain Buddhist monk, peace activist, founder of the Plum Village Tradition, and an author. He was noted as a living Buddha by some. One of his books, The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching, Transforming Suffering into Peace, Joy, and Liberation, he showed the comforting wisdom about the nature of suffering and its role in creating compassion, love, and joy, all qualities of enlightenment. The author introduces us to the core teachings of Buddhism that will be essential in our daily lives. It shows the most essential Buddhist ideas in a way that even secular people can easily digest. This book is a radiant beacon on Buddhist thought for the intimidated and uninitiated alike. According to the author, if we go to the Buddha with our hearts open, he will look at us, his eyes filled with compassion, and say, "Because there is suffering in your heart, it is possible for you to enter my heart. Just like everybody, Buddha suffers too." Recognizing and acknowledging our suffering, the Buddha, which means the Buddha in us through deeply looking at it and prescribing a course of action that can transform it into peace, joy, and liberation. Suffering means the Buddha used to liberate himself, and it is also how we can be free. The seed of suffering in you may be strong, but don't wait until you have no more suffering before allowing yourself to be happy. The Buddha called suffering a holy truth because our suffering has the capacity of showing us the path to liberation. Embrace your suffering and let it reveal to you the way to peace. There are two major schools of Buddhism, Theravada and Mahayana, which follow somewhat different written transmissions of Buddha's teachings. Thich Nhat Hanh studies multiple schools just to clarify understanding the Buddha's words and teachings. To him, Buddhist teaching is meant to awaken our true self, not merely to add to our storehouse of knowledge. He focuses on the practical aspects of Buddhism, especially mindfulness. In this way, he resembles other teachers who also brought Buddhist ideas to the West beginning in the 1960s, including Alan Watts and Shunryu Suzuki. Ultimately, Buddha always warned his disciples not to be too attached to theories or beliefs. He said the finger pointing towards the moon is not the moon. The Four Noble Truths are the foundation of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddha continued to proclaim these truths right up until his great passing away, Mahaparinirvana. The author focuses heavily on these four truths to give us a foundational understanding of Buddhism. The following are the Four Noble Truths. A. The first noble truth is suffering, dukkha. Embrace suffering as a fact of life. It is only through our suffering that Buddha can communicate with us. We have to recognize and acknowledge the presence of this suffering and touch. B. The second noble truth is the origin, roots, nature, creation, samudaya of suffering. We need to recognize and identify the spiritual and material foods we have ingested that are causing us to suffer. The third noble truth is the cessation, nirodha, of creating suffering by refraining from doing the things that make us suffer. We must face our suffering by touching deeply both the good and the bad, experiencing everything that happens indiscriminately. D. The fourth noble truth is the path, marja, that leads to refraining from doing the things that cause us to suffer. The Buddha called it the Noble Eightfold Path: right view, right thinking, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right diligence, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Another teaching that the book showed us is that we should stop our old habit energies with mindfulness. The author says, mindfulness is the energy that allows us to recognize our habit energy and prevent it from dominating us. Thich Nhat Hanh says it's good to say, "Hello, habit energy," when you see old destructive thoughts, emotions, or behaviors rise again. We need to learn how to be calm in everyday destruction that we may face along the way. Buddha said the four functions of mindfulness are stopping, calming, resting, and healing. These are the four ways mindfulness can be useful to us. A. Stopping. The author says, We have to learn the art of stopping. Stopping our thinking, our habit energies, our forgetfulness, our strong emotions that rule us. B. Calming. The Buddha taught many techniques to help us calm our bodies and mind, and look deeply at them. They can be summarized in 5 stages: recognizing that we are angry, accepting that we are angry, embracing our emotions, looking deeply at the source of our anger, and having insight on what to do and what not to do. C. Resting. Mindfulness should be relaxed, light, and free of struggle. As the author says, be like the earth. When the rain comes, the earth only has to open herself up to the rain. D. Healing. If we stop, become calm, and rest, then healing can happen in our body and mind. When we begin to practice Buddha's teachings, we bring suffering and our habit energies with us, not just those of 20 or 30 years, but the habit energies of all our ancestors. Through the practice of mindful living, we learn new habits. With mindfulness in us, we can smile a smile that proves our transformation. The heart of Buddha has been touched by our being wonderfully together. The author reminded us that we should practice as individual, a family, a city, a nation, and a worldwide community. He further noted that we should take good care of the happiness of everyone around us, and may we practice transformation at the base through deep looking and deeply touching, for the teachings of Buddha are very deep. We can live through these teachings if we can practice it every day. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, I am confident that you can do it.